Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Vigorelli, and this is Vigorelli Institute. I've got something special for you today. Recently, within actually the last couple of days, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. I went on a Sunday. I went to a place called the Rippa Villa, spelled R-I-P-P-A Villa. It is in a part of Tennessee called Spring Hill, not far from Columbia, actually, and just south-ish of Franklin. There was a Civil War battle there. It's called the Battle of Spring Hill, and it's also the site of where the Union Army snuck by sleeping Confederates. Excellent piece of storytelling, at the very least. Anyway, I went there because I had heard the place was haunted, and I like to hunt ghosts, okay, for the purposes of not going, ooh, too scary, or, there is definitely something here, but to help someone who is there to cross over, okay, and we'll get to that in a second. So I went in, paid for the tour, took the tour. Very interesting, a lot of history there, surprisingly. It was built about 200 years ago, and the guy that built it specifically so that people could see it, because he was a bit of a, look at me, aren't I awesome type of guy. Yes, did have slaves. In fact, the road in front of it was built with slave labor. I know. And the road that's in front of it will actually connects the Gulf of Mexico to Michigan. Yeah, you can drive the whole thing. Okay, ain't that something? I can't remember the name of the road, though. That's okay. Feel free to look it up. So, we're going through the house, and I'm expecting to see ghosts. I'm expecting to hear something, smell something weird, anything. Okay, it's actually under restoration right now. So, the place is basically empty. There's a few pieces of period furniture in there that have either been rebuilt or restored. It almost looks like the guy leading the tour was, if you would have walked in there, not been able to understand what he was saying, and just seen all of us, he was basically doing an open house, trying to sell the building to at least one of us. Okay? There's nothing in there. Some of the walls are torn. It actually has a brick interior walls. The place is built heavy. Because, well, I don't want to blow down. That's why. Okay? So, I can fairly certain say that the Rippa Villa building and surrounding buildings themselves are not haunted. The grounds, on the other hand. So, finish the tour. And, we sit and talk and out by a fountain. I'm going like, yeah, this place is like, I was thinking, when I first got there, I was thinking, yeah, this place is totally haunted. And if it ain't, it really should be. Nothing happened. Okay. And usually on tours, I see something. Like a guy, poking his head out from around a corner, or a little kid standing there and waves to me and runs off. Something. Okay. Nothing happened. So we finished the tour and we get done with our post-tour talk. The tour guide was totally cool. And I'm walking around, kind of deciding where I want to go. And I look to my right, because where you park is you park in the back, on the back side of the house. There's what used to be the garage. It was built to resemble kind of a stable or a carriage house, and it is there as the gift shop and the office. Okay, so I walk out of there and I look to my right, and down this hill, there's this structure, okay? All the greenery around it is dead. It's yellowed. And on the structure itself, it's very well encased in very healthy ivory. So that's a clue. So I hike down there, and as I get close, I'm looking at this thing, and I start getting, those skin prickles, going like, okay, there's something here. So I get close to it, and I'm kind of deciding whether or not I want to go around. The grass is kind of tall, and I don't want to run the risk of getting bugs. So I say, hello? Somebody in there? And I hear a voice says, "Who goes there?" Okay. I say, "I'm from the Union." This guy comes out. I can see right through him. That's a ghost. He's dressed in a Civil War uniform. I can't exactly tell if he's Union or Confederacy, but it looks like Confederacy. And he looks at me and says, "You don't look like Union." I say, "Yeah, I know. It's been some time." I look at him and I tell him, "By the way, you're dead." Okay? "It's been 160 years since the war. Time for you to go." He looks at me and says, "I have to guard this place." And I tell him, "Well, no, you don't. It's over." So he raises up his rifle, points it at me. He says, "I could, you know." I said, "By all means." So he lets one off, hits me here. I don't fall down. He looks very, very confused. Okay, I tell him, "You've been here too long, man. You need to go." "But I have to stay." "No, you don't. All I got to do is go into the light." And he does. Fades away, and it's over. So as I'm looking around, I decide to hop in my car, and I take a dirt road out to far side of the property, where a building development subdivision has sprung up. There are a bunch of houses, but right at the edge of it, there's a couple of cemeteries. Okay, one's a small plot, I would say no bigger than your standard executive office. Okay, and it's got a bunch of gravestones in it, people that have been buried there for 200 some 150 200 years. Okay, got got a rose bush in there and lots of fully bloomed irises. Place smelled wonderful. Okay, especially for a graveyard. Now, next to it, just across like a little walkway that's wide enough for a large man to cross, is the slave cemetery. Okay, and the family plot is rimmed in a stone wall, whereas the slave cemetery is wooden stakes, quartering that off. Okay, and I look through it, and I'm taking a bunch of pictures because, I don't really want to try to goose anything yet because some more people have shown up, and I kind of want to keep a low profile. Okay, so I'm taking pictures, seeing what I can get, and I'm not really getting a whole lot. So I cross into the slave cemetery. I'm looking around, and there's these two guys standing there at the only headstone that's there. And it's a pseudo headstone with a bunch of offerings on it from tourists and whatnot. And it says, "This is to commemorate the unknown and unnamed persons buried within this area." Okay, and they're looking at it, and they're going like, why don't they have headstones? I said, "Why not?" I said, "Because back then, these aren't human. Okay, they're livestock." "Well, yeah, but the people running the place were Christian. They should have given them a Christian burial." No, they shouldn't have. You don't give a Christian burial to a donkey or a dog or anything like that. That's how they viewed these people. They're use and throw away, which kind of breaks my heart. And please, YouTube, don't get upset with me, okay? I'm relaying historical facts here, okay? And why this must never happen again. So, one of the guys kind of thinks to himself and goes, "Yeah, you're right." So, yeah. So they take off, they hop in their car and leave. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm walking through the cemetery, and I hear a man's voice behind me that says, "Hey, what do you mean I ain't human?" I turn, somebody's standing there. I can kind of see through him a little bit. Okay. I said, "Well, to your masters, you weren't." See, the man was black. He was dressed in a linen tunic. It's kind of open at the top, no sleeves, okay, and some kind of ratty brown trousers, okay. And I said, it's been a very, very long time for you. He looks at me and says, hey, why are you dressed like that? I said, because you've been dead about 200 years. Okay? You need to cross over. I said, he goes, what? I said, I was born in 1983. Right now it's 2024. Okay? I think it's time for you to cross over. And I'm walking through, okay? I'm continuing to walk through the cemetery, and this guy's following me, okay? And he says, my name's Joseph. It's a pleasure to meet you, Joseph. My name's Richard. Okay? I tell him again, you need to cross over. He said, they told me there ain't no heaven for people like me. I said, they lied to you. Okay? So I then turned with my phone, took his picture, and I centered him dead center. And it is this picture here. Now, if you look at it, okay, if you can see, just look real careful, go ahead and back, and you'll see him if you know what to look for. Okay? I've shown it to a couple of people, and yeah, there's something there. Okay? So he says to me, hey, what is that? And I tell him, well, this little device was invented about 15 years ago. Okay? I mean, this guy's never seen running water. He's never seen electricity. Okay? My smartphone is magic to him. Okay? It may as well be. Okay? So he said to me, how do I do it? Said, let me help you. Okay. So I'm standing next to this tree. Okay. It's 100 years old if it's a day. Thing's huge. It's got split right in the base. Okay. That's how old this thing is. And I reach out and I touch it and I activate it as a little thing I call a beacon. Okay. Basically, I got the idea from Harry Potter. Think port key. Okay. You touch it and you go. Okay. And I connected it to what most people would call heaven. Okay. When it activates, it kind of turns blue and shiny and shoots a little beam up into the sky, and he goes, whoa. And I said to him, and as soon as it was done, I said, go ahead, touch the tree, and trust me. Okay. He reaches out, and he touches the tree. Disappears. I hear, then the wind kicks up, and I hear a thank you. And the wind dies down. It's all right, cool. So walk back to my car, hop in, and I turn to look back at the cemetery. I see 3 other people, 2 of them women. Okay, reach out and touch the tree and disappear. So, yay. I'm really quite proud of it. So that little beacon will stand there for probably a few decades till it finally burns out. So, yay. Hopefully I can save a few. All right. Well, that's all I got for you today. I'll be back later with something else. Like, share, subscribe. By the way, VigIntMed no longer exists. I had to get rid of it due to financial reasons. It's just more than it was worth, so I tossed it. Everything's been moved over to VimandVigorelli.com. Link is in the description. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. If you've come across anything like this, please let me know. Anything that I've described. If you want some advice, I might be able to give it to you. I'd be happy to help. If you need some help and like you're within a reasonable driving distance for me, I'd be happy to come out. Okay. So, you take care.